have Jena Daniels with me today. She is the Vice President of Patient Success at Medable. So Jenna, I would love if you would introduce yourself to our audience.
Of course. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to share my screen if that's okay with you and just kind of walk through some slides as I feel like it'll help a little bit guide our conversation. So first and foremost, thank you so much to everyone for taking the time to listen in and learn a little bit about what I'm about to present. So as Ansley mentioned, I'm Jena Daniels. I head up our patient and site success strategies at Medable. Medable is a global technology software as a service system that enables clinical trials to be run anywhere. So outside of the clinical setting, increasing that access, increasing the ability to include more people across the globe, and really understanding what health conditions look like outside of the clinical setting. So super excited to share a little bit more about that. So bit of a background about myself. Before joining Medable, I was a clinical research associate, then coordinator, then manager at Harvard and Stanford, specifically for kids with autism, and really trying to understand how mobile tools and technologies could help with early intervention and then diagnosis. I learned about Medable during that time and joined about 6 years ago. And the first thing that I was asked on my very first day was, what legacy do I want to be part of? Like defining my why. And so that's what I think about every single day, for every single trial, for every single opportunity I have to advocate on behalf of patients as well as sites. So my why is to make sure that everyone that is using our technology feels seen and feels supported. So we talked a lot about, Dr. Essel talked about tailoring education, and that's a perfect segue into what my role is and kind of what we learn from in these different conferences that we attend in the life sciences industry. So my why, like I said, is for our users to be able to feel seen and be part of that product prioritization and roadmap. So I get to head up our patient success team and our site success team, which just means we have a global network of advocates that we learn from directly. And our future goal for all of this is really to continue that true collaboration and deeper understanding. So let's kind of lay this all out. We know we can't have successful clinical trials without successful sites and successful engaged patients. So we went to focus on those two. And what this actually looks like holistically, like I mentioned, those patient and site networks, that global and diverse network where we can learn directly from patients and sites, they help us to prioritize our product roadmap and really think about how can we up-level that technology adoption. So thinking about standard and study specific onboarding and training, and thinking about how we can truly embed the experiences of everyone we work on behalf of into what we're doing day to day. So I know I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, but just wanted to give a little bit of a background to kind of set the stage for what we're about to talk about in our discussion.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Jenna. And as we know, this conference is talking about the review of HIMSS and Vive. So specifically, as we strive to enhance user experience in digital health technologies for clinical trials, Vive actually emphasized the importance of seamless and user-friendly products. So can you elaborate on strategies that you believe are crucial for vendors to create products, considering the insights that were shared at Vive? And how do you envision incorporating these strategies into training and onboarding processes?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely. So the biggest thing that we learned at Vive and then at HIMSS and then also just in these other conferences is the end users. So patients, site users, the sponsors and CROs, the study builders, they all want to be involved. They all actually want to be part of the process of thinking through how to build, what to provide, and not just be told, like, here's what you've got to onboard. And so what we are doing and what I recommend to these different vendors is making sure that it's not just a check mark that you're talking to one patient or one site, because that's one experience. And we all know as medical professionals and researchers that one story is not enough. Although it's incredibly important, we need to really truly talk to patient communities, to site networks, and understand and remember that everyone learns differently. People learn through auditory, through listening, through visuals, through doing, through reading content, and making sure that no matter what it is that you're creating, there's an opportunity for every person that learns in a certain way that's embedded. I think the most important thing too is knowing that when you're a study coordinator or when you're sitting with that patient and their family and you're onboarding them into this clinical trial, and it's in a situation where everything kind of feels out of control for them, that site coordinator, that study personnel is literally the face of the entire clinical trial. They're the face of multiple vendors. They're the face of the entire protocol. They're the face of that sponsor. And so as vendors, as the sponsor, it's our responsibility to make sure that everything is so easy to use, so easy to understand, that
Mhm.
that coordinator can focus on the relationship with that patient versus focusing on what button do I click next? So it's on the vendors to come up with that onboarding and education and training that's seamless and easy to use and quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that kind of sparks another question is, the Vive conference also underscored the significance of user feedback in improving product usability and satisfaction. So how would you leverage the insights also from Vive to integrate this user feedback effectively into training, and also onboarding for digital health technologies and clinical trials?
Definitely. So one of the biggest things with sites to consider is that there's so many different types of sites, from academia to site networks to single one-offs to and in all the different therapeutic areas as well. So making sure that you are in the design process or in the discovery phase of your onboarding is really focusing in on bringing a variety and diverse group of people into that process, like having them click through things, having them share how they would want to see it. What
Mhm.
are their pain points? What are their challenges? Really have that user experience research mentality of how might I? What would you do? Like if you were head of product for this company, what decisions would you make? And I think Vive really emphasized the ability and opportunity to consider reaching out and understanding like that people do want to get involved. People do want to share their insights. It's
Mhm.
kind of like that it's kind of like focusing on the education for vendors to inform them that that these sites do want to get involved. They just need the opportunity. They need to be aware that they can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know that we're running a little bit behind, so I wanted to ask you just one more quick question.
For
Given
sure.
the emphasis on innovation and emerging trends in training at Vibe, how do you stay informed about the latest development in this space?
Absolutely. So honestly, through our global network, that patient caregiver network, as well as our site network council, these are patient caregiver and site advocates who have a variety of different experiences. Some who've participated in clinical trials, some who have participated in completely decentralized trials, some hybrid, some that are running studies, some that have never been eligible to participate. And so we really look to our global and diverse network of this group to help us stay up to date and informed and share their insights internally throughout the entire company, as well as attending these types of conferences, learning and attending these types of symposiums that HITLAB is hosting, and also just really making sure we're staying up to date on papers that are getting published
Mhm.
and speaking opportunities. So thank you so much for this opportunity to share and learn more.
Well, thank you so much, Jenna, for your time today and taking time away from your schedules to speak with us today.